everybody. This is Robert Hampton, and we back with the Robb Report. And before we get started, I just want to apologize to everybody for the long layoff. We've been having prison COVID, and so it's kind of kept us from communicating with each other. We've been on a major lockdown. But I'm back with my brother Davven, and I want to get this thing started right off the top. I just want Davven, just introduce yourself, tell them how old you are, how much time you got left, and a little something about yourself, if you would, please.
My name is Davven Holmes-Davenport. I'm 31, and currently got 32 years left, but you know God's going to overturn that.
Okay. Now, we just did this interview, and I titled it "Raising in the Sun" for obvious reasons. You know, you're living in the light and everything, you know, and you're a nice person, and a lot of people like you, so I tied a lot of reasons into why I named it that. But what I want you to do, because normally when I do an interview, I let you have the final thoughts for the people out there, and I didn't allow you that opportunity, so we're going to do it a little bit backwards, you know, and I want you to just put your thoughts out there into the universe and talk to the people out there and say what's on your heart.
All right. So I want to come from a different aspect because of the position that women has been taking, which has inspired me. You know, and I want to take this time, you know, to speak to the women, mainly because God has not forgotten about you. And we're talking to the queens in the world. He didn't forget about Sarah when she was to bear Abraham a son, even though she was old of age, and to the human mind, she couldn't have kids. So the reason why I wanted to take this time is because the women in this day and age have stepped up to the plate when most men didn't. Women have become the mother and the father in most situations because the house was absent of a father. Women has become pillars in our communities because in most situations they were present and willing to do what it takes to get the job done. But today God told me to tell you, the queens, that whatever faith impregnated you to hope in, He hasn't forgotten about you. You're about to birth what it takes so long for you to conceive. So men have found our ways back to the forefront of this good fight of faith. And that doesn't mean that necessarily we don't need you. This just means we're ready and able to be who God called us to be while you can reposition yourselves as we partner in this fight, in this fight of reference to life, this journey that we call life. You reminded us, men, what strength, courage, and unwavering faith looks like. And you showed our young ladies the example of a strong woman. However, your contractions are every minute because God is about to deliver the blessing that you were impregnated with. It has been well overdue. When us men begin walking in the forefront, you can nurture your blessings as you would do your newborn. It's time for us men to cater and protect our women as we serve God and His purpose in our lives. God called our women to be our helper. He called us men to be fruitful, multiply, and till the ground. I want to thank God for my wife and my mother because they stood by me even when I couldn't stand for myself. Women of God, us men want to thank you for being everything that we needed you to be, even when we're supposed to be at times. So I wanted to emphasize just the women, just for the simple fact that you see a lot of women in the forefront and being in the position that men were supposed to be in. But now we're about to come back to the forefront. And now it's the women need that appreciation and that gratitude. So that's why I want to extend that little moment of time for the women.
Wow, brother. We don't like taking those back seats, but what a lot of people don't know, and this is actually perfect timing to bring this up because a lot of times we represent the hood and whatnot, and then when we come to prison, you know what I'm saying, it's like the homies, sometimes they just ain't there like the women is, you know, and people automatically assume when we get these baseball numbers, we're going to die in prison, and then they just kind of desert us. So could you speak to that real quick for me, please?
Repeat yourself one more time. The phone was kind of going in and out.
Okay, I was saying how what you were saying was really profound because a lot of times, you know, when we get these numbers, sometimes the homies don't tap in with us, and it's the women that keep holding us down while we're locked up in prison because most people assume that when we get these 30, 40, 50 years, we're going to die in prison, and they desert us. So could you speak to that real quick?
I'm mean, yeah, like one of my brothers, Fawn said, when you go in these visiting rooms, man, you see more women than you see men. The more men is in khaki outfits and the women is in regular clothes. So through this time, it's evident on the position that women are supposed to hold in our lives. They're supposed to be our helpers. And we're supposed to be in here grooming ourselves so when we do hit the surface again, that we can be that man that's supposed to be fruitful and multiply until the ground. But, you know, this day and age, like I said, the homies don't really check in. Necessarily for the reason because that when we're in the streets, we are exposed to a distorted version of loyalty and love. We're not taught the natural essence of life on what that contributes to even live that type of lifestyle. The only thing that we know is you're the homie, we're from the same set. Now that's the only bridge between our friendship, unless we come from the sandbox with each other. But normally, just because we share the same set, share the same colors, share the same enemy, then we think that that's a mutual bond, that's a mutual friendship when it's not. Because once we do not share the same enemy, we are no longer friends because we have nothing in common. But men and women have everything in common because women come from our rib. But that's the natural relationship, how the world started. When it wasn't man on man, it was man on woman. So when it comes to homies, do not check in. I now see it as they're being what it's supposed to be because they was taught one thing. But then when men do come around and show that certain love and loyalty that only God can reveal to you, that's when the whole dynamic of the game changes. Just for the simple fact that we have to expose the other ones that's following us the same thing.
Right. I definitely agree with you. You know, and I never thought about that part about the rib. But I wanted to make a transition here real quick. And I know that you have your foundation, the True Foundation, which you've been working with directly with the Filthy Rags Outreach. And I know that we mentioned in the interview how you had put your vision on hold for a few minutes, you know, to get this Filthy Rags off. And it looks like we're up and running. So I wanted you to take a moment and speak about your foundation and what that's all about, please.
Well, truth, you know, it's an acronym, is to reach you through him. And it's to reach you through her. The you in the truth is whoever we're reaching. It can be the youth, it can be the adults, it can be anybody that we're trying to reach. Homeless, teenage parents, it can be anybody. You know, just for the simple fact that we have different passions. However, the foundation that we stand on is dealing with the testimony of where we come from. You know, I was born and raised in the Hilltop community, and we didn't have people come chasing us down or come being that type of big brother or mentor to us when we was out on a block 100 cribs deep. And so now I have that passion to be like, okay, we're going to start there. If I see 100 cribs on the corner, I feel comfortable enough that I can walk up just because I was once one of them. And we share the same path, so, you know, we have a mutual relation there. And then I feel compelled because, and I say this often, that there was one time when I was out there and there was two cars that drove by and they said God's gang on the side, but they just drove by. When they drove by, everybody just had a natural reverence and everybody got quiet. But as soon as them two cars bent the corner, everybody got back to smoking and drinking, shooting dice, whatever it was that we were doing at that certain time. What I wish they would have done was at least hopped out, check on somebody. If there's 100 of us out there, they can get one. And it starts with at least one. And it can create a snowball effect. So the True Foundation, we're aiming towards first gang prevention and gang intervention. However, you know, whichever ones will come first. Then it will be the youth. We do live podcasts. We expose the false realities of the gang lifestyle. Somebody has to be able to stand up and expose it for what it really is and not be scared of the criticism that's going to come afterward. Sometimes you have to turn back to what you're trying to go back to and expose it for what it really is so you can replace it with true principles and morals of life. And so when it comes to the True Foundation, that's what we stood together and made a vow for one another and be like, we're going to stand up in the face of adversity and expose the false realities of it. And that's where it birthed into, now we can go deal with the legislators, and now we can go deal with faith, and now we can go deal with family. Now we can, you know, now it broke off to other branches, but originally started we're tired of being lied to and we're tired of being a sacrifice for something that don't love us. I give somebody 100, but they don't give me 50%. So I'm going to turn around and expose it. Take the wool off of everybody's head and show it, hey, this is not a real lifestyle. Now, this is how we can teach you how to be a financial advisor. We can teach you how to be a brother. We can teach you how to be a parent. We can teach you how to be anything. I only can give you what I got, but I can teach you how to be everything that I was supposed to be when I was your age. Now, that was the starting point of True Foundation. And that's who we are as a collective, starting out, the core members of it.
Okay, right. So, and I hear that, but also, we're still in prison, and you're just one man, and you can't do it all by yourself. And I know that you have people that want to help you, but what about if there's people that's listening that want to help you? What kind of help could you use? And if somebody wanted to be involved or wanted to help you or wanted to see you prosper, what avenues could they take to help you? And who could they contact if they wanted to help you?
So first, I'm gonna, give out the how to contact us. The email is to reach you through him at gmail.com. TOREACHYOUTHROUGHHIM Or you can go to my Facebook, Davven Holmes-Davenport, /ELG on Facebook, or you can go to True Foundation on Facebook. And True Foundation also has an Instagram. Now, how people can help us is being that willing vessel. Share the same passion, or if you can feel like you can contribute because you have the same story. And to being involved, if it can be posted in social medias, if it can show up to meetings, if it can figure out how to bring resources to the table to help further it, any type of contribution is definitely necessary. And yeah, it's a struggle sometimes because, all the weight falls on the shoulder of a person or two or a few. And when it comes to the people that we know, we do, have on the street, because we're so new, sometimes it is difficult because we got to take on the luggage. But that's what we're here for. When we start out fresh, I don't expect there to be 105,000 people. But we're going to do what's necessary, and we do have a lot of open gaps that need to be filled or that we would like to be filled. Just like, we have the faith committee, we have the family committee, we have the education committee, we have every committee that can be an essential tool in these communities that we're trying to enter into. And you can definitely look on the Facebooks, on the podcast that we have done, the Exposing the Game Lifestyle, or just a, casual conversation. And reaching out also, somebody will definitely reach back in a, in a timely fashion also.
Okay. And that's great. And so what I want to do now is I want the audience to kind of get a better view of some of the sacrifice you made. So let's talk about back when you guys and the Filthy Rags was just getting started and y'all was out there in the cold on the yard, talking this Bible stuff and just really just bringing people into the fold.
Well, I enjoyed it, man, because it was about 8 or 9 of us. And, we just got together, man, and we just having a casual conversation about what God has done in our lives and giving out testimonies and, bring a word. And there was a specific time where, we was out there and it was a diverse group. It wasn't just all black or all white. It was everybody, every nationality. And so then the COs and the sergeant came walking up, and they was kind of tripping at first until they got closer and realized, who was out there. And they had got a call from the tower saying how these people was getting together, they might be politicking. So they come out there, it's probably about 10 of them. But the closer they got, when they realized, these aren't men that we have problem with, these are the problem solvers. And they actually apologized for the inconvenience of interrupting our fellowship. And then we have birthed the question of what does it look like going inside of a classroom? And that's where we start coming together and putting our brains on the table and saying, okay, we can put this together. We can make it look like this. And that was all and that was all just from a love aspect, because we came together just off the pretense that we wanted to be with each other. Not that it wasn't an obligation, but it was just a moment in time of, man, I just need a fellowship. I need to lean on somebody as much as somebody needs to lean on me. And then God matured us to a level of now we're eating meat so we can give everybody else milk that are coming to these classrooms.
You know, and sometimes I used to walk by, but I kept seeing y'all bringing people in, and they kept telling me, hey, man, you got to come in, and eventually I got sucked in, and I started realizing the false realities was real, and I had contributions, and because of you guys, I'm involved too. But I want to go a little bit personal right now, because what the people don't know out there is this COVID is really, we all caught COVID, and we all been away from our families, and I know you have a son and a daughter, you know, and, you know, talk to your kids for a second and talk to people and let them understand how it is for us as men to not be able to be around our kids, hug our kids, and cuddle our kids, and just have that space, you know, because nobody expected this pandemic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a sensitive one because, you know, I've been gone 12 years. You know, my son's about to be 14, my daughter's about to be 13. You know, them is my pride and my joy right there. Them is my little babies. And it's difficult because they haven't opened his visiting rooms in 13 months. And growing up, I never met my biological father until I was fighting for the rest of my life in the county jail. And that's when I got to see somebody who I look just alike. And one thing that I vowed to myself was I was never going to be a man that would give up. Regardless how tough the fight is going to be, I would never give up on reaching out to my kids. And so that's what I do now. If the only thing I can give them is a word of wisdom and a prayer, that's all I can give them. If I can call, we can sit on the phone for hours or even just 20 minutes, that's what I'm going to give them. A letter, anything. It don't matter what it is, my presence alone. Even if we can just laugh for 20 minutes, that's cool too. And that's what I strive to do in this pandemic. It's hard because they miss me. They miss running up to me. They miss us wrestling. They miss us coloring, doing homework, all the stuff. But it's difficult now. And this is where I feel like this is what makes or break a bond between a father and kids. Because there's a moment where, and I'm gonna be honest, there's a moment where I don't feel like calling because I don't want to deal with the pain of not being able to hold my babies. But I can't allow that to hold me back.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Because it held somebody else back with me, and I will never do the same.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hey, listen, LG, this has been great, man, and I thank you for your time, but I want you to do one more thing for me before we get out of here, because we've seen a lot of people lose their relationships for this COVID-19, too. But you've been fortunate enough to keep your wife in your life, so just say a good word to her, and let's get on up out of here, man, and thank you again.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Man, baby, I love you. You know, we've been doing this for a while. We got some more to come. I can't be anything without you. You're my backbone. You're my future. You're everything. You're my better half. You're everything I never thought I could have or even accepted because of who I used to be. So for this, you are the true queen of the Holmes-Davenport. I love you.
All right, y'all. This has been the Robb Report, man. It's been great, man. Thank you guys for your time. God bless you.